Hello everybody, this is Loki and welcome back to Apollo Justice. We're continuing from where we last left off. Apollo Eustace? That's Justice. Better learn how to say it if you want to ever get some. Believe I know shooting. Machi claimed Multiple Tooth was already down on the ground when he entered the room. Maybe it was a trap and he walked right into it? Suddenly I hear revolver, close, very close. Then I hear a voice. You heard gunshots? Yes, it's true. I hear revolver, but only sound. Wait, you're saying you went into the dressing room and found Mr. Latouche already dead and then you heard shots? That's true. So you were at the scene of the crime when you heard those shots? You escaped through the air vent? I know. Huh? What do you know? I know if I open vent, I can leave stage and backstage. So the vents went to both the stage and backstage area? Is that what you mean? Hey, right, look Apollo. Huh? Yeah. But how do you know it was connected like that? Wait, I bet his father was the architect that designed the hall or something. I hear this from a magician. Magician? Don't look at me. Magician, huh? Well, at least we're clear on one thing. Magic did not shoot Mr. Latouche. Yeah, but what did that leave us with? It's supposed to say he went into the room to find the body and then heard shots? He's going to go over Wilhelm Court? Not. Apollo, you're his defense. Just put to believe whatever he says, even lies. That's what Daddy always told me. I'll just pretend you misheard him every time. So, what did we do? You're sure you won't testify, Machi? Hey, no talking, though. Well, it was worth a shot. That cocoon. Poor kid is scared. Of course, he's scared. Oh well, I guess we'll just have to try a different approach. Not the spirit, Apollo. So what's your plan? If Machi won't testify about it, we'll have to get someone else to testify. Someone else? I think we're out of time. Let's go back in there. Right? Poor kid scared. I feel bad for him. Court is now back in session. Mr. Justice, have you sorted things out with the defendant? Yes, Your Honor. We had a good talk. Very well. So will he testify? Your Honor, the defendant will not testify. What? Shame. And here I thought this was your big chance to turn the case around. Actually, it is. The defense would like to approach this case from a different angle, Your Honor. A different angle? If Machi won't testify, then I know who will. I would like to cross-examine the witness in the case.
Objection!
What are you up to now? I thought we determined yesterday that her testimony was insubstantial. There's nothing you can't. She was taken to the hospital yesterday with injuries. What happened? She was assaulted, Your Honor. Assaulted? Someone wanted her dead. Thankfully, she was able to save herself. What? I've heard no such report. Prosecutor Gavin? Why would anyone be out to kill her? Can you think of a reason? Well, think of how she is known in our country. A singer from overseas who doesn't speak English, yes? Yet someone tried to keep her mouth shut. Who could have been that been? You don't think? I do. It was the same person who shot Mr. Latouche. The killer was afraid of her, afraid of what she might say. The defense believed that something was hidden in her testimony yesterday. Something that the killer doesn't want to get out. So, am I to understand this is what you're saying? Namely that there's a nugget of truth in her testimony? A nugget where we have yet to uncover? Exactly. If she was attacked, this has serious implications. Very well. There were some vague points on her testimony during yesterday's trial. Perhaps we did not inquire as deeply as we might have into some. The court will hear her testimony once more. I must apologize. We must ask you to stand again and speak. You need not apologize. I know that Machi is innocent, and I will do all I can until the court realizes. Let's review your testimony from yesterday. You told us you heard 2 gunshots and the shooter's voice through the window. And that voice belonged to Darren Crescent, yes? That is correct. At which point I proved she could not be correct. She couldn't have heard any of those things. A small window at the scene was closed and was found to be quite soundproof. You have nothing to say to that, Mr. Justice? I don't know exactly what yet, but I do know there's something there. There is. It seems much you do not know. If you guys hear my dog in the back, just hear something. And yet it is my duty to hear him out. Perhaps the witness would be so kind to testify much more to the court? Of course, Your Honor. Let's see what you have to say, shall we? I was on my way from the stage to the backstage exit. That's when I heard them, Mr. Latouche and the detective. I heard the faint sound of a gunshot and stopped. Then I heard another gunshot. I just smelled gunpowder. I knew I must tell someone, but I was in a hurry, so I kept moving past the small window. Pretty much the same as yesterday's testimony. I'm sorry. I'm not used to speaking much in this language. Perhaps my descriptions are lacking in some way. Yet everything I have said here is the truth. But what if it was a different window? It is my distinct displeasure to say this. What you have said to have happened is impossible. Do I have to repeat myself? She was attacked because of this testimony. I think ahead. Very well, Mr. Justice. Perhaps you can coolly explain cross-examine this witness. Okay, let's get this going here, shall we? Darren Crescent? I did not know his name at the time. But yes, it was him, the one who took the stand yesterday. How many times do I need to remind you that it's impossible? There's no way you could have heard him. Because the window at the scene was closed? Is that why? Of course. Apollo, if we keep asking the same question as yesterday, we won't get anywhere. She's right. Maybe there's a different angle I could try? Do you by any chance remember what they were saying to each other? If so, please tell us. I have given it much reflection, but I was afraid of this. She doesn't remember. I only heard one phrase clearly. The whole phrase? You remember something that was said? Why didn't you say anything yesterday? Though my memory is clear, I was afraid to speak. You see, I do not understand what was said. This could be it. The clue I've been waiting for. Well, what did he say? It was the other man speaking, not Mr. Latouche. The shooter then? Darren Crescent. Well, what did he say? It's over. Press the switch. Now. Switch? And the shooter said that to the victim, Mr. Latouche? I thought quite strange myself afterward. It is a mystery. What could it possibly mean? Mr. Justice? Care to shed some light on this? I mean, yeah, it's very vital. Maybe we could add it to the testimony. Maybe, Apollo? Really? Have to present the remote switch. Or remote trigger, yep.
Objection!
Press the switch. There's only one key that can unlock the mystery of those words. Oh? Yet there's nothing at the scene to be called a switch, save the lights. True, there wasn't a switch at the scene, but it just happened. I have a switch right here. That certainly does look like a switch, doesn't it? The problem is, this was found not at the scene of the crime, but on stage. The stage? Where the counter was held, yes. This was found hidden there. On the stage. Are you claiming that the voice Lamar heard was of someone commanding another to press the switch? It's a possibility. It's true.
Objection!
Oh, hair or forehead. I call that impossibility. Why? It's hardly necessary for me to remind the court of the layout the counter form. The stage is quite far from her dressing room. Not to mention that the deliverers were in the middle of a concert on said stage. We weren't known for being a quiet band. You could shout all you wanted and not be heard. The detective's voice was loud, but certainly not a shout. So too have her forehead cries of possibility fallen far short of being heard. Sorry, but he wouldn't have needed to shout. Excuse me? You heard what I said? Or do you need me to shout it out for you? It would have been quite simple to be heard on the stage from the dressing room. Oh wait, like evidence, don't you? How about this? Using this, it would be easy to get a message to someone on the stage from the dressing room.
Take that!
Professor Gavin, perhaps you're familiar with this? What? What? What is it? Is it some kind of newfangled phone they invented while I was looking? No, it's not, Judge. No. This is a type of transmitter, a communication device. Communication device? It's like, what is this newfangled device these kids keep using? Everyone on stage was wearing one of these. Isn't that right, Pastor Gavin? Oh yeah, actually they're for talking between band members. We all have one on. So you admit that if you were wearing one of these, talking from backstage to the stage would be simple.
Objection!
True, but wait. They'll send out an electronic signal to avoid interference with the audio system. Their range is quite limited. She said it was about 30 feet, right? Look at this cross-section diagram of the concept form. Ah, exactly. The walk from the stage to the backstage seems far, but the direct distance is less than 30 feet. That can't be! So when she heard the shooter's voice, he could have been talking to someone on stage.
Objection!
Huh. You're claiming this is the switch in question? Why did it have to be on the stage at the time? It could be placed in a pocket and carried anywhere. Someone could have hid it on the stage after the fact. Hey, you got a point. How did we know where it was when she heard the voice? When the shooter said press the switch. But I guess we don't. An unfortunate situation. I'm afraid that until we know where the switch was, there's little point debating it. I was sure this was the way to go with this. And what is the switch anyway? We don't even know what the basic fact. Oh, we know what it is, alright. Wait a second. I do know what the switch is. And if you follow the train of logic, that's an incredible conclusion. It ends up with the proof that completely changes its case. What's up, Apollo? Apollo? We know about the switch, right? We know what it is. Yeah? Well, think of it when we used it that day. Think of what happened. Well, Mr. Justice, if you have no further information to share concerning the switch. Your Honor. Yes, Mr. Justice? I've been remiss in not telling the court this before. I know what this switch is. Well, it seems the defense is set upon linking the switch to the case. Let's see for evidence of the link. What evidence do you have to explain what the switch is?
Take that!
Prosecutor Gavin, you remember this? Ah, that's that. What is that? That what? Is that another one of those newfangled phones? No! It's not a phone! For the love of God, it's not. This is an igniter. Igniter? You mean it's like a lighter? Yes, actually. You aren't saying this switch is a remote. I am. This is a remote trigger for an igniter. What? Look, I'll show you. Oh, yeah. Mr. Justice, you will cease and desist from burning down this courtroom. Sorry, that was a bit more fire than I expected. If my whiskers had caught on fire. Prosecutor Gavin, let me repeat myself. This switch is a remote igniter trigger. Doesn't that suggest something to you? You're talking about what happened to me, right? Aren't you? Ah, exactly. That night at the concert, there was one unusual burst of flame. When your guitar caught fire in the middle of your concert. Wasn't that part of the stage show, though? Prosecutor Gavin was entirely unaware such a thing had been planned, and the guitar that burned was a valuable keepsake. That's right, he got it in Virginia. He said that the sound was amazing before it burned. Of course, now it just kind of smokes. The better guitar, the brighter it burns. Air forehead. Yes. Don't tell me you're trying to tie these two things together. These being the shooter's voice heard by her, and the guitar suddenly catching fire. I am. It's really simple when you think about it. Mr. Latouche and the shooter were at the crime scene, and the shooter was wearing a headset. He ordered someone on stage to press the switch. The switch pressed and the guitar caught fire. Well, that does seem to make sense. Though something about it is bugging me. I can't quite put my finger on it. Really? It seemed pretty simple to me.
Objection!
Air forehead, don't destroy what little respect I have for you. I was expecting something a little more sensible. I guess I was wrong. What is this all about, Prosecutor Gavin? His simple story simply makes no sense. Think. That night my guitar caught fire, yes. The cause may have been this indeed. The guitar caught fire during the second set. Ah, that's right, of course. Indeed, yet the shooting happened during the third set. The two are utterly unrelated. Yes, that must have been what was bugging me. The whole premise for this is faulty. See, his story makes no sense.
Objection!
Are you sure about that? What exactly do you mean, Mr. Justice? Maybe it's not the premise for my explanation of the switch that's at fault. Maybe it's our premise for the entire case so far. That's true. What premise is it specifically? I'm glad that you asked. I'm saying that maybe the killing didn't take place in the third act.
Objection!
What is this? But the detective Emma Sky heard shots and found the body. All of this happened in the third act.
Objection!
Gunshots rang out. And according to his testimony, Machi was in that dressing room at the time. Where are you going with this, Mr. Justice? Stay with me, Your Honor. He also told us in his testimony, namely that the victim had already been shot. The next moment, Prosecutor Gavin's guitar burst into flame. We know that a remote triggered igniter was inside the guitar. From all these facts, we can draw only one conclusion. The crime did not take place during the third act, but during the ballad performance, the second act. What? Order, order, order! But that goes against the evidence. What does, Your Honor? The crime was carried out according to the lyrics of the song, yes? Hey, he's right. Look. You're thinking about it the wrong way. Huh? Look. Why did the shooter craft the events of the day to follow the lyrics anyways? It's awful lot of trouble to go through, with little merit for the person doing it. Well, I'm sure whoever it is had some reason. Yes, they did. A reason that made it advantageous to follow the lyrics. You're saying the order was reversed on purpose? Reversed, Prosecutor Gavin? If the criminal followed the lyrics strictly, then yes. The shooting would have come after the guitar burst into flame. Yet Air Forehead has raised another possibility. He's claiming that the bullet came not after, but just before the fire. Couldn't have put it better myself. We were only meant to think that the shooting came after the guitar burst into flame. That was the criminal's objective. The crime followed the lyrics to a point, but that was the ruse. Why else would the killer risk discovery by moving the body? That was the final touch to make us think he followed the lyrics the whole way. No, that's true. He did it to confuse people. Order, order, order! That would explain the most unusual situation. It does. The killer changed the order of the events to create himself an alibi. In other words, the killer was someone who had an alibi for the third set, but not the second.
Objection!
Yeah, he wasn't on stage on the second. I was hoping it wouldn't come to this, but sadly it has. Let me tell you why your little fairy tale makes no sense at all. Why are you sticking up for that Darren person? Oh, it sounds good, I'll give you that. You're giving us a reason why the killer bothered following the lyrics of my song. By questioning your logic, for it's flawed from the very beginning. Flawed? Yes, a contradiction, Air Forehead. One I have pointed out several times, no less. At the time of the crime, the small window at the crime scene was closed. How could she have heard the voice through it? Oh. I know you would like to divert our attention from this critical fact, but you're basing your entire line of reasoning on false premise. Her testimony is my entire case. That voice you heard, the shooter's voice. What if she couldn't hear it, Apollo? Look, what do we have? A man saying press the switch. And near the crime scene we have a switch, which acts like a remote trigger for an igniter. And last but not least, Prosecutor Gavin's flaming guitar. It can't be all coincidence, but how do I make it work? I see more of a direct line of questioning was required. When the crime scene was investigated immediately after the crime, that window was closed. Care to tell us how she heard the voice? She was in a different area. A key point, to be sure. Mr. Justice, can you explain this to the court? Okay, Justice, you got one thing to prove, and one thing only. She heard a voice. And she heard it during the second set. Think, how was she able to hear it? She was somewhere else. When we investigated the scene, the window was closed. The shooter had no reason to close it. It had been open either. Meaning it was impossible to hear the voice through that window. Ah, it's good to hear you making sense again. For a moment I was afraid you might be a Bulgarian too. As I was saying, she could not hear the voice through that window. So there can be only one explanation. She heard the voice from another location entirely. Was this? You do amuse me so. And here I thought you had good sense, we're back on speaking terms. Now I'm afraid you and good sense speak two entirely different languages. Shall I interpret for you, her forehead? She clearly stated she heard a voice through that small window. But she didn't say which small window. There's only one small window at the scene. Are you sure? What if she meant it was the air vent, and she called it a window? Think about it. Isn't there another small window at the scene? There is? I know that look. He wants us to ask him. Very well. You claim she heard a voice from another location, but just to show where this location was, she heard the voice from here. The air vent. She probably didn't know the word for it. This is where she heard that voice from. But that's no small window, that's the air vent. But what if she did not know the word for it? What did she tell us? She said she's Bulgarian, unfamiliar with her language. See, that's what I was saying. She didn't know the right word for it. It's not a stretch to imagine she called the air vent a small window.
Objection!
Now you've done it. You've gone beyond ridiculous and into ludicrous. It happens sometimes, guys, where like I have a hard time saying a word if I'm talking fast or fast enough, and some words become jumbled. So she was up in the ventilation system listening to this man's voice. That's the only logical explanation, yes. Logical? I don't even think this word means what you think it means, air forehead. Okay, what about it isn't logical? Huh, it's hardly mere saying. Why wouldn't she be in the ventilation system, hiding like a rat? No offense to her, intended to her, of course. The explanation for that is simple, Prosecutor Gavin. Isn't it? Isn't it? You have been listening to our discussion here, yes? Yes. I admit it had me quite confused since yesterday. Yes, the small window was closed. But why should that mean I could not hear through it? I fear our prosecutor might need an interpreter. The problem here is words. This small window through which you heard the voice, was it up high in the ceiling of the room, not low on the wall? Yes, it was up on the ceiling. What? Well, that answers our question that we were wondering. What if you would clarify this statement to the court? Are you in fact saying that you were up above the ceiling of the room, and that's where you heard the moment of the crime? Yes, in fact I was. I'm sorry, I never imagined it would become such an important point. Yes, well, why the heck were you up there? I believe it's time for another testimony. I'm not sure, I can't. May I remind you this is a murder trial? We'll hear your testimony. Tell us why you witnessed the crime from above the ceiling of that room. Please. Well, looks like I'm on the right track. Then why are you so nervous? Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and call it here for now, because the part of the video got cut off because of having issues. So I'll do the rest of this sometime tomorrow. So, sorry I have to do this in 3 parts, guys. Computer issues. You just love when that happen. So I'm gonna go ahead and call it here. If you guys enjoyed the video, feel free to hit that like button below and subscribe for more videos to come. See you guys later. Bye guys.